we did a few EFL talks in the past with Belta and with Christine in Greece, I believe, and some other talks.
Yeah, with Peaceful Greece. Yeah.
Yep. And so John has since joined us, and he's part of our board that we have. But yeah, I just wanted to bring John in. John's well, you can tell about yourself.
Okay, thank you. Yes, as Rob mentioned, I was the president of BELTA, which is the Belgium English Language Teachers Association, for a few years. And I am a university professor at Thomas More University of Applied Science. And presently I work in the international communication and media and international media and entertainment business programs, where I integrate English language skills into existing courses. So that's my big function as a teacher. And I also coordinate the media and entertainment business program, which, if I could just plug, we have a new 3-year degree starting next September that I'm very, very happy about, on transmedia production and television and media. So we're really, really excited about that. And I've been in Belgium for 13 years now, coming from New York City.
Great. And what can you say other than the fact that, you know, what a great job I do and everything else? You know, what do you think about what we're doing? And you've seen it evolve over the past 5 years, pretty much. And how do you compare what we're doing, to what's happening now with all the webinars?
Yeah, I've attended a lot of webinars, have hosted a lot of webinars, and I much prefer this format. I much prefer the short 10 minutes, 10 slides format. And I think it's really important because teachers we're totally inundated. Even before the COVID-19 situation, we're totally inundated with lots of things going on in our classroom, outside of our classrooms. And to get professional development on a regular basis can be difficult. As you mentioned at the top of the program about traveling to conferences and things like that, it can be very cost prohibitive and things like that, or just doesn't work into your time schedule. So I really like this format. And prior to moving over to the media school, I was in the education school at our university. And these talks were a required part of my courses. So the students had to determine what did they want to focus on in the year that they were with me. And then they had to use the talks as a springboard to starting up some research and background to perform better in their own teaching situations. So I think teachers around the world can find multiple uses for the, more than 500? How many total?
Yeah, we should be 550 when we're finished with this.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. And I must say, one of the last speakers, not the last speaker, but the speaker before, she was talking about making her CELTA. And boy, that sounds like the next project, Rob, you know? I mean, how can we take these, create some sort of online environment, and then supplement some of the things? So we'll have to get busy on that.
Great. Here comes Mr. Glenn. Glenn, you're muted.
Hello, good morning, or should I say good afternoon?
Good afternoon.
Hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm in the middle of a forest here in Poland.
Yep, we hear you perfectly. And Glenn, I wanted to bring Glenn in. Glenn, just, a few weeks ago, we just did IH Poland, and Glenn is with International House Torun, and we met a few years back, and he's also getting involved in helping us with EFLtalks. Moving on into the future, you may remember him if you were so blessed as to see the magic trick of the disappearing ball during our comedy night.
It was an egg.
Oh, an egg. Yeah, that it was
Potentially could have been rather messy.
so. Oh, wait a minute! I just realized we have 3 male native speakers on at the same time.
There's no Eve Award for this segment.
Yes, we'll get the Adam Award.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking a little bit about how important CPD and everything is. I figured I wanted to bring some people in and, just chat a little bit. Got a few minutes left. What do you think, in comparison, Glenn, to what we're doing here? John just made some points about the 10-minute format as opposed to a 1 hour or a 90-minute training.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think there's pros and cons for both, to be honest, Rob. It is great that these are like very short, snappy 10-minute segments. And then, that means the participants can choose and select what they want. And there's something they don't want to see, they only know that it's only be 10 minutes, and then they can come back, they can go make a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and come back. But I think, there's also pros for having longer segments as well, 45 to 60 minutes. I know at our school, when we have a conference, it's going to be about 45 minutes to 60 minutes for a workshop, because we like to make it interactive. And I'm a strong believer that I prefer practical sessions over theory. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with theoretical sessions, but I like sessions where the basic participants can run away with something and implement it in their classes literally the next day.
Yeah,
that's what I like.
Yeah, and I know this is one of the things that with the 10-minute format, some of the talks have done that. We'll just talk about one specific thing that you can do in the classroom, but most of them aren't like that. And I agree with you. I like the workshops, and I think it's something we've talked about is doing types of workshops too in the future, moving on. And it's something we'll talk after my 5-year anniversary is over.
Definitely. Yeah. No, I mean, CPD is so important, and it's great to see so many people here today watching this 5th year anniversary talks from all over the world. I can see, from all different countries, which is fantastic. But it just goes to show how many teachers are crying out for CPD.
Well, that's it. And it's amazing to me that it's not only the new teachers that we see coming to these, but we're seeing a lot of experienced teachers because they get a lot of new ideas. Just, we know, well, we're a bunch of old men, after a few years of teaching, you forget some of the basic things. I think there's little things that I see and I say, oh, I used to do that 20 years ago. Why did I stop? And
well, we're all learning. We're still learning.
That's it.
I mean, I've been teaching for 18 years, but I still feel like there's so much more I need to know. For example, I need to improve my board work.
Well, I have to work on my English. I know, well, if you pay attention to what's happening in the world, the 3 of us are all still learning English, and people go, back to your native speakers. The language has changed so much. Mm-hmm. John, I don't even understand John anymore.
Yeah, that's true, Rob. And not only has the language changed, but the methodologies have changed and the approaches have changed. It's a lot to keep up with sometimes. And that's why this format is so good, I think, for teachers. So it's short, to the point, and then let's move on to the next topic.
Yeah, and this is kind of what I was looking for, because what I noticed 5 years ago is when I was watching these, this is when it was still with like the 90-minute format, and some of the things just went on, I know what Glenn's saying, that you want to see something you can walk away with. Mm-hmm. I was seeing a lot of webinars that were webinars I wanted to walk away from. They just, 90 minutes of theory is too much.
Also, Rob, what's your take on themed conferences? Because I've been to a lot of themed conferences where, to be honest, the workshops have nothing to do with the theme.
Yes.
So this is when I organize a conference at IH and I never have a theme, because I just think, there's so many amazing things. As long as you've got a bit of like YL, a bit of teenage teaching, adults, business teaching, you've got a bit of everything, then that's great.
Yeah, well, I think this offers a lot more, and saying that, being part of the BSIG, where that is the theme, we do see a lot of different things happening, not just business English. Coaching has now become a lot more popular. We see people talking about blended learning and some of the specific things. But I think, yeah, I kind of agree with you. A lot of these themed ones, unless it's specific, like young learners, usually everybody sticks to young learners, everybody sticks to business English. But when you say gamification or you say teaching online, yeah, they're all over the place. So if you look at some of the themes we've done in the past, I'm very picky on who I choose to make sure that they're going to stick to the subject that we're looking at.
Yeah, I think that's key if you're going to do anything themed, is you have to pick the right people and things like that. We stayed away from it in Belta, although we do focus on a theme strand. We used to focus on a theme strand sometimes, but that's only a limited number of workshops. To do a whole conference with one theme can be very daunting and very difficult.
But when I get applications from presenters, they always ask me, what's the theme?
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, that too.
Is there a theme to your conference, Glenn? No.
It's like, the theme is teaching English.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. How to be a better teacher.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys being here. While we're going to go back to the talks, but before we do that, Glenn, I'll give you a second to give a plug for International House Tow Run in November.
Thank you, Rob. I appreciate it. Well, yes, we have our annual Teacher Training Day conference, which was due to take place live in Turin on the 14th of March, and we all know what happened then. Literally on the 14th of March, Turin was like a ghost town because everybody was in lockdown. So we had to sadly pull the plug, and we rearranged it for the 7th of November. But as you can see, with the cases of COVID rising internationally, we've decided to opt for an online version this year, which has its pros and cons. One of the pros means that we can get lots of well-known presenters. So we do have a certain Scott Thornbury. We also have Andrew Walkley, who's the co-author of Outcomes, but also Carol Reed and Adrian Underhill, and quite a few others as well. So quite a lot of big names. It is free for IH teachers. There is a small fee for non-IH teachers, but do come and just Google IH Tour and Teacher Training Day, and you'll be able to get the information. Okay?
Gee, any of the small names you can mention?
Rob Howard, but you're not a small name.
Yeah, but you didn't mention me with the big names, you know.
I said lots more. You know, there's too many to mention.
Yes, I know. And it's a great conference. I really enjoyed last year, and you know, I still remember the wonderful job you did in my workshop.
What, the one in IH Bydgoszcz?
And Bydgoszcz, yeah, it's, you know, great job.
Thank you, and I look forward to welcoming you to Turin as well in November.
Yes, I am. Unless they close the border between me and you, I plan on being there in Turin. So
I can't see Poland going back into lockdown. I don't think it's going to happen.
We'll see. Where did you see the map?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the yellow zone right now, so we're back to masks.
Oh dear. Okay.
So, okay, Glenn, thanks so much for joining us. John,
thank you.
Thanks for joining us from Belgium.
My pleasure.
you know, keep up the great work in the background, and I'll be putting you guys to work very soon. Okay?
Great.
Look
Thank you,
forward to
Rob.
it.
Great.
Good luck
Thanks
with the rest
for
of the
joining us.
conference.
Thanks a lot.
And happy Teachers Day, guys.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Thank you.
Yeah. All the best. Bye-bye.
Okay,
Bye.
thanks. Bye now. Great. So now we're going to go back to Hannah. How is your connection?
Well, I shouted at everyone out there in